Teachers of Reddit, what are some positive trends you have noticed in today's youth? University teacher here, my students put in way more effort than I did at their age. Granted, the system has pushed them in that direction as well, but they typically have a better idea of where they want their career to go and are willing to put in the effort to obtain that goal. By comparison, I and my cohort mucked about a bit more. Students are not afraid to just be nice to each other. I teach elementary art and it is so nice when a kid who is pretty unskilled in art show another kid their work, and instead of getting laughed at, like when I was in school, kids are just so sweet and will say things like wow, I really love that. I hear kids telling other kids I think your work is beautiful or I really like your ideas. And I just think of when I was in art kids made fun of my work. In general I really don't see kids being bullies as much as they were when I was a kid. I went to school in a really nice district too with few problems but I was bullied. Kids here have a much worse home life than kids at my old school and while they could choose to take it out on others, they don't. Kids help each other too. They know if a student is special and will try to help that student out. They'll offer to walk them to the bathroom, or help them with their drawing, or very politely tell them to be careful with things. My GF is a teacher and she is amazed at how uncool drinking and driving is. Kids are like that stupid you will kill someone. They literally make fun of kids who do it. In my day everyone drove drunk. Very positive change. Edit. For the 20,000 plus people saying my username doesn't check out I'm going to have to ask you to do something risky and Google hard gay man. If you don't want to do it, you're missing out. Yahoo! Till the people who have hard gay in their lives are better for it. They seem generally kinder to each other, especially to the kids who are different. When I was in school, the kids who didn't speak English as their first language, or were a little quirky or had disabilities were either avoided or viciously bullied. Today that seems to be the exception rather than the norm. My daycare kids are much more likely to wash their hands than my generation was when we were their age. Lol. High school teacher here, the most admirable quality of the rising generation is their ability to take anything, and I mean anything, and turn it into a meme. Girls ask boys out more often. Boys are starting to expect girls to be more frank and straightforward with what they want more often. Other than that, just like my colleagues. Generally kinder, more generous, understanding of differences, mature. On the other hand, I find them generally more sad, maybe more cynical, and overall quite happily pessimistic toward the future, a kind of "ah we're so fucked" vibe I feel sometimes. Edit. I got to say that I teach in France, it has its importance. I'm not a teacher but my GF's mom is a teacher and it sparked a dialogue. With the dawn of meme culture, kids are getting competitive with comedy at an early age. When I was a kid, I had undiagnosed mental health issues so I was bullied a lot, and the only thing that kept me alive was developing my sense of humor. Sad as it is, young people have a pecking order and cliques, but a few things can transcend those boundaries and one of those is humor. Coincidentally, I was into internet humor, meme culture, and PC games way before my peers were. Wanna hear something crazy? I was bullied for that. Specifically and mercilessly. If you ran a meme page and had a nice gaming PC at 10 today you would be a god. It's honestly made a lot of kids that don't fit in have at least something in common with their peers. All you have to do is yell Fortnite or whatever meme is going around that week and boom you have a friend. I had one time where I was able to make friends like that and that was when Pokemon came out, similar concept. You might think that kind of stuff is cringe or annoying or stupid, but if it can prevent someone from wanting to kill themselves at 12 like I was, I'll allow it. Of course I don't need to have it anywhere near me, but that's a different matter. They are generally independent and self-reflective. When I first started teaching I thought I had simply lucked out getting students who were consistently bright, engaged and curious, but having now taught at 3 different universities on 2 different continents, it seems to be a general trend across universities. They are also, as noted elsewhere, generally kind and empathetic, and both my male and female students are usually pretty emotionally mature. With high schoolers I really noticed how better their style is. Super random, but compared to how lazy I dressed in high school it's impressive. I asked my wife, primary teacher, and she says empathy and adaptability are the two traits she has seen dramatically improve over her last 15 years. Kids seem to be better at putting themselves in another's position and understanding their situation. Also, they seem to be much more flexible with changes, whether in the classroom or the outside world. Spouse to a high school teacher, she had to say, they were born into the internet and social media. It is not something they had to learn. Also, as a result of which, they are also more self-reliant with research. And most importantly, contrary to the largest complaints, today's kids are extremely hard-working, and are less judgy of nerds, less judgmental in general. As a student currently in high school, the big thing for our generation, at least in decent schools, is that failure isn't cool. Sure, if you suck up to the teacher and obsess over studying you'll get made fun of a bit, but the kids getting F's get made fun of a lot more. A lot of the popular kids are actually really smart and get top grades. There's a general awareness that we all need to do well and a lot of aspiration for the future. Kids are openly kind and loving regarding their parents. I had a tough football player day in class once. I love my mom, she's my best friend. I see the old duck my parents mentality falling by the wayside recently. Not a teacher but work the 2:10 shift at the local gas station across from the junior high and high school. Kids these days are a lot nicer, more likely to donate to our fundraisers, and they have zero problem for paying for each other's stuff when someone's short. I am a teacher at a high school in Missouri. All of the stereotypes you see in rural high schools are still prevalent. However, almost every group works harder academically. It is no longer cool to get F's and fail. Even country boys who will never leave the farm or go to college care about getting passing grades. 600 plus students in our HSBTW. Not a teacher, but a former after-school care counselor. Even though it may have just been the school's rules, conditioning, the kids were generally so good at apologizing, owning up to their actions, and being accepting of others' apologies. After whatever situation transpired has calmed down, of course, they always knew to kindly and carefully approach whoever they hurt, make eye contact, and word their apologies in such a way that effectively communicated their apology for the correct reasons. And those being apologized to always knew to say I accept your apology as opposed to it's okay. Kids in my day couldn't figure those kind of communication skills out until at least middle school or high school. The only time I would get a sarcastic sorry accompanied with an eye roll and running away would be from a kindergartner, or an older child facing other difficulties. Taught art for a spell a while back. I know that a lot of people say shit like oh these children and they're all consuming technology, but a lot of kids are so excited about learning to make things using their devices. A big part of the sculpture class I taught was to make a statement using a 3D printed sculpture. Even take something like Minecraft. I know it's a big meme, but it's a huge sandbox to build things. I remember being a young teen when I came out we would get so complex with our builds. Kids are learning to create in an incredibly different way. It can be really irritating when they latch onto something and run it into the ground, but they love learning new things, and creating new things, in an increasingly relevant way.